one of the big questions is how you create your marketing materials. And I think for a lot of them, there's often a choice about how to display people in a charitable campaign or in a marketing campaign. Do you display lots of people? Do you display just one person? And I think we find that there's a lot more traction. You do much better if you just have one person that people can identify with. So pick one person. It doesn't mean that it has to be a man to identify with men or a woman to identify with women, but it seems to work much better if there's just one thing that they can identify with. Yeah, I think the strongest thing, as I mentioned there, is that they react much more strongly to names that remind them of themselves. So that often means having the same initial. They react a lot more to simplicity, I think, than to complex names with a charity, just because they want to feel like it's warm and they can identify with it, they understand it. If the name is very complicated or it's an acronym, just a series of letters, I think it's much harder for them to identify with. It's really good if it's pronounceable. So if they can actually read it, instead of being, like a lot of the charities have just a series of letters that you can't pronounce. And so when you're talking to other people about it, you get confused. It's not as easy to remember. So if you can use a name where people can say UNICEF or whatever it is, I think that's really useful. The strongest effect we've seen is that when you show people some sort of, like let's say it's to save animals or to save people, or to help people, whatever it is, if you show lots of those things, like lots of animals, lots of people, it overwhelms them and they don't give much money. You do much better when you show just one identifiable example. So if it's for children, for example, and you're trying to get more food for them, you do much better if you show one child and you give the backstory of that child, rather than if you say it's for a whole village and you show 12 children. So having one single very identifiable example is much better than having lots and lots of them.